Hello and welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. Oak City Tech gives their clients an edge over their competition with web and logo design that make them stand out. They increase brand awareness and generate leads with SEO and social media presence, then convert those leads into clients with content creation and email marketing. If you will go to oakcitytech.com, let them know what you're looking for. I know they can help you. Tell Drago, the owner, we said hi. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning, and each week we bring you a small business success story from Triangle BNI. If you are not familiar with BNI, it's Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here we call the Triangle in North Carolina. It's Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Each week, 33 chapters and almost 600 members get together, and we help each other grow their business. And our small business success story today is Dr. Tim Merrick. Tim, good to have you here today.
Thank you, Mike.
Tim is an executive life coach.
Mhm.
I like that. We welcome titles in here. You notice the tie.
Well, then just call me King.
Oh, I can do that.
Oh,
King,
sure,
King
absolutely.
Tim, King Merrick. Yeah. So if you know, both of us are wearing vests here, so we like that. So I wear it because I don't want to wear a jacket or sweater. He just wears it because he's filthy rich and he can wear it. So,
Now wait a minute. Now wait a minute. There's a vulnerable part to this too, Mike. I'm now in my 60s, and my metabolism is not what it used to be.
Yeah, man.
And you know what this is?
What?
This is called exterior Spanx.
Well, and it's funny you say that because I'm to the point now where I either have to drop some weight or buy a bigger vest. I'm not real happy with buying a bigger vest. So
I hear you.
I'm trying to cut back. I had a meal before I came here and I made it smaller than normal. And I'm not hungry, but I just feel like I have to eat something because it wasn't as much as I ate this. Anyways, Tim is an executive life coach at Big Time Coaching. He does this with his wife. So we're going to get into that story. Tim's chapter is RD06, Profits in the Park. They meet Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. at Hope Community Church in Morrisville. So if you are a morning person, if you live in the Morrisville area, and if you just want to learn more about how to grow your business or start a business, we ask that you go visit Profits in the Park. Good folks there. I know they'll help you grow your business. All right, Tim. We are, what are we, early in March. So we've got a ton of things going on in the world today. We've got coronavirus. We've got the economy good in certain places, depending on which news channel you listen to. But we'll get into that on my other podcast.
Yeah, that's
nobody gives a crap anymore. Yeah. So a life coach.
Yeah.
That's broad. How do you explain that to somebody when you get in your elevator speeches 30 and 45 seconds?
I work with people who say, my life is good and I want it to be better. It's pretty simple, really. You can, and all of us are striving. We all want more. It's the bloody nature of being human is that we want to create more for ourselves. We want to experience more. We want to have more, whether that's more fulfillment or whether that's more money or whether that's more relationship. It's just a natural thing. We all want more. And we're out there doing it. We've been doing it since we were kids. And the question is, can I create that thing I want faster, with more power, with more velocity, with more passion? You don't have to have a coach. Nobody needs a coach, right?
No. We're both coaches. We can't say that on air. This is recorded now, so people can play that back. But you are correct. Most of us have gone through life without one.
Yeah.
But we probably missed out on some opportunities to either grow what we do well or recognize where we may have a weakness.
I agree. And the thing about coaching for me is really getting in there with someone that says, I appreciate who you are. I accept who you are. I have no judgments about who you are. And if I'm going to say that, that's why I have to say no one needs a coach. Everyone's okay as they are. Now, having said that, do you wish for a different experience?
If people on the show, we certainly like to entertain and we do that, but also want to educate. Is there a commonality when people call you looking for whatever level of help they're looking for? And I say that, so for the people watching here, what might be going on in their life where they think, you know what, probably be good to talk to somebody about something?
I remember, I'm going to take a step back
Sure.
to answer it. I remember a long time ago, I used to rail about people being victims, people being just at mercy of the world. And I used to think, thank God I'm not one of them. Now, as I've gotten a little bit older, I hope just a little bit wiser, I realize how many ways I'm still a victim. I'm still blaming external circumstances for the life I live. And what I notice is as we start to get behind the wheel, as the world starts to change faster than we do, as we start to lose our edge, it's only natural that we begin to blame the world more.
Okay. I
So,
was going through going through my head on some things while
what
you were
I
doing that.
notice is that the people who come to me and say, I want to coach, many times are starting to get aggravated. If it's the C suites, they're disillusioned by their teams. Why isn't my team producing?
Yeah.
If it's in a marriage situation, is why is my wife just hassling me to death? Right? If
Probably because we're leaving the toilet seat up and not cleaning the
I,
kitchen, things like that,
it's
right?
leaving the socks on the floor,
I know.
man. Right? So it we start to become a little bit more bitter about the world, whether it's other people, whether it's about the culture, or if it's about God.
This started though, what I've learned on the business coaching side is when somebody says, "Oh, I've got this issue right now," it didn't start today. It started somewhere and festered for little while, went away and came back at some sort. So there are triggers. I know that.
Mhm.
But when do you realize, again, is there, why do people finally call you? What triggers that?
I would love to believe in a world, Mike, where people want their great lives to be fantastic lives.
Yes.
However, as you know, most of the time we need to hit a pain point before we decide we're going to take time,
Yes.
money, and energy
Yep.
and invest it in ourselves. So usually there's got to be some sort of a frustration with how things are turning out. Like I said, with the C suites, I'm not getting ahead.
And
Or,
explain what the C suites are.
sorry, those people who are, at the very top levels of their organization,
Mhm.
CEOs, COOs, CFOs. But even below that, the managers who say, what's going on? My team isn't producing. And
Mhm.
in fact, I just got passed over for my promotion,
Yeah, boy.
right? And that says something about their empowerment,
Mhm.
right? So they're starting to slip. And I guess the one thing I notice is that life doesn't stop.
No, no, no.
We're always asked to reinvent ourselves on a constant basis. So if you think about it this way, well, what was it? Bob Dylan said, those not busy being born are busy dying, right? You know, um, when we're talking about relationships with a client, I'll often say, there's really three phases you could be in. You can be growing your relationship,
Okay.
you can be killing your relationship, or you can be letting it die.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So there is a world that's constantly moving, and you and I will probably both agree that it seems to be moving faster. And so there's a constant need to keep up with the world. But what that ultimately means is keeping up with ourselves.
Yeah. What I've learned in the business coaching world, because you work with business people and non-business people that just want to understand things or get better. And Trinity, my partner, I just work with business owners to help them grow their business. What I've learned is, and I'm trying to work on this as well, the successful people have a pretty good read on themselves. I knew in previous lives when I ran 3 facilities, I'm not a detailed guy. Not your guy. I'm not gonna get stand in that line to sign up for
Mhm.
that. I just wanna be able to talk to people, upsell, market, develop relationships. That's where I'm best served. But it took me having managed one place to understand for the next 2 that I needed somebody by my side, be it an assistant manager or an admin that loves those details.
Mhm.
But that took me a while to do, and a lot of us are afraid to admit it's not a weakness because we're all wired how we're wired. It's just I don't want to do that.
Mhm. I don't want to market myself, Mike. And so I have a marketing code,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because it's not what I love to do. I know how to do it now. I've learned some things, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do is talk to people. I want to be in relationship. I want to see them have their breakthroughs. So I'm going to let someone else do that. And so to take your point, business leaders usually know something about themselves. They know something about their limitations,
Mhm.
right? But when you say you work with businesses, you work on the business numbers, you work on that the structure a little bit, but you got to get underneath it.
I was just going to say we start there,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden stuff starts coming out to understand why the business is where it is because the owner, I either don't like doing this, so I don't pay much attention to it, or I'm micromanaging my people. But yes, we eventually get to that point to explain why this is happening.
So many personal issues about who they are that show up in their business acumen. I need to show the world that I'm capable. That's how I have gotten, say, my self-esteem. That's where I get my identity. Now I have to show up knowing all the answers. How's that working in today's environment? In today's collaborative
Yeah,
environment, the most powerful thing you can say is, gosh, I don't know. Let's go look.
yeah.
But if you've got to be the one with the answers, now what are you doing to your team's productivity? So I'm going to look at that person and say, what's going on that that person has to have all their own answers? Where's that story coming from? Let's see if we can bring awareness to that narrative and start to look at other ways that they can start to act outside of that. And we'll create exercises wherein you start to practice a different way of being.
We met 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, and hit it off. And I knew you'd be a good storyteller, which is why I said you need to come on the show. As I've been doing some research over the last week or week and a half, just trying to get a sense of what to talk about, and I've been wanting to ask you social media. All right, going back to your original point that we want it good, we have it good, but we want it better. Social media, you don't have to admit this because nobody's listened to it but I'll know it's just between friends. You must just die laughing sometimes because either life is awesome or life is horrible, or you're awesome or you're horrible, depending on if you and I agree on stuff. You must read some of that. Go, people. You just,
And then there's the person who says, I am going to bare my soul.
yeah,
I'm going to come out on Facebook and I'm going to tell people, the
man.
struggles that I'm having because maybe it will help someone else who's having a struggle. And unfortunately, it doesn't play. I mean, I could wish that we
Oh,
would we would have the capacity for the level of compassion and acceptance and understanding, but it doesn't fly, right? And everyone just laughs and shuts it off and moves
yeah.
on. There's something that I've coined a word called empowered disempowerment.
Okay. I had to write this down.
And what I mean by that is there are times when we feel that we're under the wheel, that we're having a hard time, we're struggling, and there's that desire to share with the world
Yep.
our situation. But when we do it from that disempowered place, it doesn't fly. If we can take that though and say, here's my struggle, and here's what I'm learning about it,
Mhm.
here's what I realize has been some of the source of it. This is what I plan to do moving forward. And you encapsulate that struggle within
Yeah.
an empowered framework. Now, not only are people listening, but they're going to get something for themselves.
Yeah.
And so there's this need to be able to contextualize our struggle. And that's what most people who come to me aren't doing. They're not
Yeah.
contextualizing the situation they're in.
Yeah. Where I come from in the country music world, that's called I'm either the bug or I'm the windshield, depending on the day.
Dire
But you're
straits,
right.
baby.
The int- the intent by a lot of people, I believe, are good because
Mhm.
they want to let you do. If I gave a talk to somebody about whatever subject and two or three people were impacted by it, home run. Even because not all 100 or 50 or however many are there are going to be. They're just not. So I love when people do put that out there and then you just read the comments. It's like, you people, some of these people are just sick, man. And they just, and I get they're trying to thinking they're funny or they're saying, well, that's never happened to me. I must be way better than you. I just want to jump through the computer sometimes and have a chat with some of those people.
There is a limitation
Yeah.
of the digital world. How many companies are still doing meetings in person? They've tried, okay?
Yeah.
They've got the Zoom meetings, they've got their, ways of, and there's finding there's something happens. There's something that happens between individuals when we can be either in person like we are
Mhm.
now, or hopefully speaking to a crowd right now that understands that we're speaking to you. We're trying to share this with you, and we're trying to be real in this moment so that you get that. It doesn't show up on Facebook. That's not the platform for it.
No.
We've got people like Brene Brown, genius, right?
Mhm.
Doing her research on vulnerability. And so people go, oh, I should be vulnerable. And let me try that. And that
Yeah.
runs into the same situation we're
Boo.
just talking about. It's in relationship. It's in real relationship,
Yeah.
real time relationship, even if it's digital, that we get a chance to be human. And that's what you're seeing is that lack of humanity when
Yeah.
someone says, "Oh, you're feeling sad, you're a damn loser."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I don't get that. I know when people have meetings, support groups,
Mhm.
perfect place for that.
Yeah,
I feel bad for people that put themselves out there on social media. And again, the intent is 100% to help. And
yeah,
then they just get crushed
yeah.
and it's usually by people that don't know them and have no idea who they are. They just sitting at home and just thinking, well, I'll shoot this down.
I guess I have to see it as a call for help at some
Oh,
point.
big time.
And
Yeah.
when I say that, it makes it sound like they're in dire straits, and I don't mean that,
Mhm.
but just saying, I'm in a place of struggle, and I'm sharing it with the world, and kinda hoping someone's going to
Yeah.
empathize with me, and maybe I get some support from it. It's probably not real effective to do it that way.
No, have long asked for anybody speaking in public, and now I think I may extend that to social media, is just put a shock collar on them. The minute they tell a lie or say something stupid, they get shocked, and I think it'll change a lot of things.
You remember The
'Cause
Gong Show?
oh, big time, Chuck Barris, he was the man. I get tired of the noise on social media, and I feel for people that have to live through that, thinking that that's their life, or don't they couldn't do this. Forget the microphone and the cameras, but they just couldn't have a face to face with
Mm.
people, and that's their only connection.
One of the very first things I do with a client is look at their needs.
Mm,
Right? What is it that you need to have? There's some basic needs, some physical needs. I got to get sleep. I've got to get good food in me. I've got to hydrate myself. So I need some exercise. I need to move my body. There's there's mental needs, right? I mean, I've got to be able to have incoming information. I have to be able to feel inspired by something new that I'm learning. Uh, there's emotional needs. I need to get love. I need to get support. I need to feel that I'm not alone, that I belong. Right? There's spiritual needs. I need
mhm,
to have that sense of something bigger than myself that makes this matter. Right? That gives me some meaning and purpose in my life. So I try to work out a what I call a wellness checklist. And I have people fill out at
mhm.
least 10 things that they are not reliable to get done unless they have that checklist. You know,
Okay.
look, Mike, are you going to brush your teeth tonight? Can I depend on that?
Yes.
Okay, you don't need to put it on the list.
Got it.
Okay. But there are things that maybe you're not going to do. Are you going to reach out and talk to a friend today?
I wasn't planning on, other than the ones I know I'm gonna meet up with afterwards, probably not,
Will you
but
stop and
that's
ask yourself what you're feeling today and what you need around that feeling? Are you going to
yeah.
get and move your body? Are you going to eat your greens today? Right? There are certain things that we need to do, and that just to take care of ourselves, to stay up,
Yeah.
to be able to function. And when I see someone on social media, crying their eyes out,
Mhm.
they're clearly not filling their cup. There's something
Yep.
that they're not doing to take care of themselves. Next step. Most of us are just maybe a quart low on that self maintenance
Yes.
routine.
Yeah.
And we notice it when we try to grow ourselves, when we try to do more, extend ourselves. Now we're 2 quarts low.
Ah, okay.
So when it comes to self care, there's something that will keep us buoyant. But if you're going to do the things that you say you want to do, you're going to write that book, you're going to create that new relationship, you're going to get a promotion at work, you're going to double your income,
Mhm.
you're going to be putting more out and you're going to have to be putting more in the tank. So let's
Yes.
talk about some radical self love. What's it going to take? How much care for yourself are you going to need in order to do the new things that you say you're going to do?
In the business world, when we meet with somebody and we talk about goals for the new year, they immediately go to money. It's either I want to make 100,000 or I want to make 250,000. And it's like, no, 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 no. Let's look at the infrastructure here. I want to hire somebody else. I would like to donate more money. I would like, we never, it takes us a couple meetings to hear that, but people immediately go to money. It's like, it'll, For most people, it'll happen if you do what you're supposed to do. And that's a kind of a broad brush, but I truly think that some days are better than others. But everybody always goes to money, and that's
Yeah.
not the root of the happiness.
Do you think that's a cultural message?
Oh, yeah, that's all we see, all we see. So, yeah, that's what we were told and brought up. If you're not making 75,000 or 50 or 200, whatever it is, you must not be that good then, huh, Mike? So
I see a lot of my clients fit into one of a handful of contexts, like core contextual beliefs about themselves, and one of them is that one: never
yep.
enough,
Mhm.
never enough. Another one is I'm categorically unlovable, and that comes from a whole
Oh,
history, right?
yeah.
But because of that, so much of their motivation is based around trying to prove that point. And what does that do to your business
Yeah.
if you're constantly trying to prove that you're good enough or that you're lovable?
Yeah.
And the one of maybe another one of the common ones is people stuck in a right, wrong, and good, bad,
Mm.
polarized world,
Yeah.
and they it doesn't leave room for curiosity, for new possibility. So,
There's a lot to unpack here. I made some notes. We're going to come back to some stuff on that. But our guest here today, Dr. Tim Merrick, executive life coach at Big Time Coaching. Tim is in RDO 6. They meet Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. As I mentioned earlier, Tim is in business with his wife, Taryn. I have I have three questions for you. One every guest gets, but the other two, husband and wife businesses. And I think I know the answer only because I've met you. I have two questions and two questions only for husband and wives that either own or run a business. What do you talk about when you get home at night, and who breaks the tie?
good questions. And first of all, I should set the record straight a little bit that Taryn and I are not yet married.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yep.
And does that mean I'm now I've
Nope.
opted out of
Nope.
that
Nope.
question? I
Nope.
still
Nope.
have to answer
You
it?
are operating
Damn.
as common law.
Can you
Today, your common law.
can you promise me she won't listen to my answers?
No, I'm hoping she does. I'm going to call her and let her know. Hey, at
Yeah.
the 11:23 mark, what do you
So,
talk about when you get home?
well, we are home. We both work from
That's
home.
what at 6 o'clock or
So
6:30 when you get home, which is mean I'm done with work in a day. What are you talking about?
yeah, we both have tried to synchronize our calendars such that we rarely start work before 11, and then by 7 o'clock we're done.
You have to be, yep.
And if you don't do that, anyone who works from home, you've learned that you've
Oh,
got
no.
to structure your world in a
Yep.
way that you don't burn out. Because I'm one of those people, Mike, and I suggest you probably are too. You could keep working
Oh, yeah.
and keep
I'm
working and
on,
keep
yeah.
working, and someone's got to put the lasso around you and bring you back to life. And I'm really grateful for Taryn for that
Mhm.
because. And I don't want to make it a sexist thing, but she has the more nurturing,
Oh,
loving,
yeah.
balanced mentality that says, "Hey, honey, are you still working?"
Yeah.
She sees me on my computer at 8:30. She's like, What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Right? So I'm grateful for her for that. That's part of the yin and yang and the give and take of
Mhm.
relationship. Um, we oftentimes find ourselves stuck with a question. I have a client who, and of course, no personal data, nothing, so that it's always confidential. But I've got a client who's in this type of a
Mhm.
situation. I feel like it's a blind spot for me. What do you see? Will you
Yeah,
will you check me on this one? And there's some of that happens after hours, but I think both of us get to the point where we say, let's talk about that tomorrow. Let's
Mhm.
talk about that. We have our own weekly meetings that I mean, we both live together. We,
Yeah,
we love
but
together, but we still have to run our business
you gotta
together.
schedule those as business meetings so it
Yeah.
doesn't turn into, "Oh, by the way, at 4:30, can you go pick up this?" You have to if 11 to 12 is business, that's all it is. Because yeah, you get and people don't understand as small business owners, your business is your life and vice
Yeah.
versa because your tax filings are tied together, almost everything is tied together, especially when you work out of the house.
And I think in some ways, I've noticed many times, Mike, that I've created situations in my life and I've taken on additional work, a different load, or I've taken on projects that are aimed at making me grow.
Mm.
Sometimes I was conscious of it, sometimes I was not. Relationship, romantic interpersonal relationship,
Yeah,
maybe one of the most challenging projects of our lives.
okay.
They have the opportunity to test us, in ways that, that try men's souls from time to time. And most people, if they're honest and thinking about their relationship, it's not easy,
No,
right?
it isn't.
Rewarding, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Can't
So now
imagine any other way.
I think that unconsciously, I have created this situation where I live with, work with, from home, my life partner.
Yeah.
And I can say that we have both grown tremendously because of it. And it's kind of one of the things we do in coaching is we push people outside of their comfort zone.
Yes.
We ask them to look beyond what's the easy way out,
Yeah.
right? And so this has pushed us. And
No. My wife and I, Becky and I have been together. It'll be 34 years this year. We've been married. Love her, love her, love her. I will not, cannot, and won't work with her. I need the separation. Plus, she's smarter than I am. So, but I've learned to live with that. So I
it'd be
don't
good if
know.
more men would admit
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. But so I'm impressed that you do. But so who breaks the tie when there's a business decision to be made? Because
She
it's her
does.
business,
It's
right?
her business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a business, she had a business.
Mhm.
We moved to North Carolina. We said, "Why are we reinventing everything? It
Yeah.
doubles." So we decided to work together, and I'm not looking to build an empire the same way she is just raring to go. And so, like, honey, this is your time.
And I remember when the first time we sat and chatted is you guys are at different stages in your life. And
Indeed.
this is what you want, and this is what she wants, and there was an agreement.
Yeah.
And or more importantly, an understanding.
I think that's a better
Yeah.
better phrase for it. And I'm on that slope that says, I'm keeping myself busy,
Yeah.
inspiring myself, learning new things, but at a different pace than when I was 40.
Yeah.
You know,
And if nobody's picked up on the fact that Tim's wife is considerably younger than him, I don't think you've been listening, but that's why.
let's
Tip
not
of
to,
the hat,
not
sir.
to
Tip
too
of the
fine a point on it.
hat.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah,
it's good though that you guys understood where each other were, and so now the
yeah,
expectations can be met. So I
yeah.
like that a lot. I always ask people on the show, how did you two meet, and do you both tell the story the same way?
Uh, I've not heard her tell the story necessarily, but I think it's going to be similar. And this is another great BNI
Yeah,
story
okay.
because we met at BNI,
Not here.
not here.
Right.
We met at BNI 45 in Manhattan, and I looked at her and I thought, "Wow." Now I was newly single, so
Ah.
I might have had that wandering eye.
Mhm.
That's a possibility. In fact, it's not even a possibility; it's a certainty. But
Okay.
she's a looker, and she had this really robust energy. She said, "Here I am, world," and she was not taking prisoners. I'm like, I like that.
Mhm.
And for some reason, I had it that she was married. And for whatever reason, she looked at me, she said, "Ooh, I like that. Too bad he's married."
Really?
And so we just sort of hung out in that luscious tension
Mhm.
in meetings where we said, "Damn, I wish she wasn't married."
Who
And
made the first move then? Or who asked the first question that needed to be asked?
she sent me her newsletter. And her newsletter had a funny semi-sexual joke in it. It wasn't inappropriate, but it was suggestive.
Okay.
And it's kind of on the edge of who she is. She kind of
I'm hip.
pushes the
All
the
right.
you know the envelope the way some people do. And I think I took that as the red
Ah,
cape in front of the
okay.
bull, and
All right.
so I made a comment back, and I think she said, "Oh, how does your wife feel about that?" I said, "I'm sorry if I overstepped my boundaries. I realize that you're married, but I'm not." And the truth came
Okay.
out.
So where was the first date?
Uh, you sure you wanna know all this
I
stuff, Mike?
do. We have another half hour. I do.
It's good. So we realized that we were both single, and we clearly were both interested, and
Mhm.
she was off. She'd taken her nephew to Puerto Rico to vacation. Her nephew and niece are, like, really close to her, and she takes them around the world with her. And we started, communicating more and more.
Mhm.
And when we got back, we agreed to meet at a specific uh, bar underneath the the elevated
Mhm.
train at midnight, and we agreed that we would not speak for 5 minutes.
Okay. You have my attention.
And she made one further request. She says, "I want you to kiss me like you mean it."
Oh, nice. You didn't have to wait for 5 minutes to do that,
I
right?
did not.
Okay, good. All right.
You know?
Nice.
And so we learned a little bit about each other. And
Very
it
nice.
was sexy. Um, it was different enough to have us both be completely present.
You know,
Sometimes we get into situations in our lives where we're just not,
yeah.
we show up and we're on automatic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And look, I did a lot of work with brain science. I understand that there's a balance.
Mhm.
Doing something on automatic takes less energy.
Mhm.
If it's something new, we have to be really, on. All our synapses are firing, right? We have
Yes.
to be looking for anything. What does it mean? What's that look? What is that? What is that? And so it takes a lot of energy. So in terms of brain science, efficiency requires us to be on automatic.
Okay.
But where in our day does being on automatic impact us in a negative way? And I'll tell you, with relationships, that's one
Yeah.
of them.
When you really want to mean something and say something, automatic's not good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm with you on that.
so many times our automatics are also driven by our past,
Yeah.
by fears, by uncertainties, by needing to show up in the world a certain way. We create automatic patterns of behavior. It's really one of the very first things we look at in coaching is who am I? Who are you?
Yeah.
Uh, there's the basis of who we are, the deep down essential aspects, the gifts that we bring to the world. And then there's all the ways that we work in automatic ways, all the survival techniques, all the protective
Mhm.
mechanisms that we have that would hopefully prevent us from getting into trouble, make sure that people see us the right way, and that becomes a wall between us and someone
Yeah.
else. We can't really connect. So here we are on this date, and we are
Nice.
we are just wide open and
Yeah.
listening.
Boy, a lot of pressure on that second date to be good after this one. Man. Well, Taryn, you and I have not officially met, but I get why you fell for all that is Dr. Tim here.
Oh,
So it comes clear to me now you chose well.
that's very kind of you. I think the better half argument definitely works in this
Oh, I that
situation.
goes without
She's
saying, so
yeah,
I didn't need to
she's
say anything
yeah,
else.
definitely the better half.
Anyways, I like real quick. Today's show, Triangle BNI, is brought to you by Oak City Tech, where they help you reach your goals with proven technologies for increasing traffic leads and sales. Go to oakcitytech.com. Tell Drago we said hi. I love to talk about firsts on the show, and I believe you are, and I was fascinated by this in our conversation. You ran for New York State. You are a candidate in the 45th district. You explained to me in the meeting and also on your bio, you're the underdog against a very strong incumbent. Most people have never run for office. A, the decision to get in it, and then B, once you're knee deep in it, what were the thoughts going through your head?
Um, I decided to run for New York State Senate because of certain principles, and it was just happened to be that the incumbent did not support those principles. They happened to be the principles of female reproductive rights,
Mhm,
and I was very involved at that time. Uh, I was the chairman of the board
mhm.
for a Planned Parenthood affiliate at that time, and it was something that was very, very important to me. It was to me a representation of human freedom, because if men have more freedom than women, it's not a free world.
No.
Okay, so that was very important to me, and the incumbent minimalized, marginalized, and would not help and even look at the Planned Parenthood organization. She got her money from religious organizations, and so she really couldn't cross that line.
And real quick, the doctor in your name is in chiropractic
That
care.
is correct.
So just put as we start connecting the
Yeah,
dots, I want
that
everybody to know that.
that's a good point. Um, I did this not from a professional
Mhm.
standpoint, but from a personal belief. And as it turned out, no one was going to run against her. She was going to run unopposed, and I just didn't feel that was right. Um, you can't tell uh, your people that you're not going to win. That's not
Mhm.
appropriate. The likelihood of pulling off an upset in that district was nil. You know, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't run the fight. And it's something that I think some people get. Why should I bother vote? They say. I think it's
Yeah.
a foregone conclusion. That's not the point. The point is, men and women have died for your right to speak your
Mhm.
mind, and I think we owe it to our ancestors. We owe it to our children to get out there and say, "This is what I stand for, even if I'm in the minority. This is
Yes.
important to me." So I ran for that office to make some critical points, and we did that.
I know one of my follow-up questions when we were first talking, which you addressed in our meeting, I'd love for you to tell the story again. There were results from you running, even though you didn't win, of some things that were changed in your district because you brought those issues to light.
I'd like to believe that's possible. I can't verify it. I
Mhm.
don't have the research for it. But what I do know is that we took a very disenchanted base, right? There was a 28% registration of Democrats in my area, my district. So it was very few Democrats ever won those races, right? And so then you take a voter who is disillusioned because they never win.
Mhm.
And they stop showing up at the polls. Why bother,
Yeah.
right? Resignation. And I went to these areas where no one was really getting involved at all. And they were just so upset with the whole process. They didn't even want to talk to me, even
And
though I represented them.
when was the last time somebody knocked on their door to ask for their vote in that district?
Exactly. Almost never,
Yeah.
right? Now, what happened because we actually brought some people to life. We said, here are some things to believe in. Here's something to fight for, right? I think we reignited a whole group of voters that maybe hadn't been showing up.
Mhm.
And so, yes, I lost that race, but in the next race, in that same district, the Democrats elected a congressman for the first time in forever. It was the first
Wow.
time
Yep.
in that district that there had ever been a Democratic congressman. We started seeing more and more Democrats get elected. Now, it's not just me. There's a turning of the tide.
Oh,
There's,
sure.
there's,
Yeah.
the college is growing. There's a different group of people moving in, et cetera. But I would like to believe that anytime we get out there and we make a point on principle, we ignite a spark in other people who it gives them the freedom to say, you know what? Yeah, I believe in that too. And I'm going to show up even if we lose.
Mhm.
And as it turns out, after a while, we weren't losing.
Yeah.
So.
And going back to your point earlier about just getting involved, I have an issue with people who don't vote. And the only reason they say it just because you have to get in the game because you don't know if you're going in the booth, the president you're voting for or the governor you're voting for may lose, but it's all those other people that need your support or that you agree with that you could help. So in essence, if 2,000 people decide not to vote in this presidential election because I don't know if it'll be Biden or Bernie, either one. If they don't like one or the other or don't like Trump, then that affects the governor's race, lieutenant governor just goes down the ballot. And you have to, at some point in time in your life, you have to get in the game.
Well, let's tie it back to what we were talking about before in terms of empowerment.
Mhm.
So this person is saying, you know what? I'm disgusted by all the stuff I've seen in politics. Whether you supported the president and you thought the impeachment was a monkey show, or if you supported the impeachment and you thought the
President's
withholding
a
of
monkey show.
yeah, exactly, whatever. I'm not here to
No, I'm with
argue
you. Yeah.
that. But what I am here to say is that if you say, I'm not going to go to the polls because of all that, that's you being disempowered
Yes. Yeah.
by your external circumstances. That's not you driving from your own essential self.
Mhm.
Who am I? What do I believe? What is my purpose here? And what will I stand for? That's the level of empowerment. Anytime you see someone angry about something, they're disempowered. They're
Yeah.
disempowered because something outside of themselves, or sometimes even themselves, has got them, under the wheel,
Yeah.
right? So this really is getting back to who we are. What do we stand for? What are the values that we hold dear? And will we live by them? You know, I talk a lot about integrity. And now, when I talk about integrity, I'm not talking about, you know, whether you're right or you're wrong, or you're good or you're bad, and you're, you know, going to heaven or hell. When I talk about integrity, I mean, is there alignment? Your beliefs, your values, your words, your actions. Are you in alignment? Right? So that's what I mean by integrity.
Hmm.
And when you're saying I'm not going to go out and vote because I'm angry as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You remember that
I
movie?
do.
Okay. Uh, you're being disempowered by that,
Mhm.
and you're not in alignment with your values.
Did you leave when the votes were counted, starting the next morning? Did you leave that experience a better person?
I did.
Why?
I did. I think for the very thing I'm talking about, I did what was right for me. And whenever we take that level of action, there is there is energy given. There's a quieting of the mind. You know, so much of the way the mind chatter works is elicited by what you know. If you're in conflict with yourself, that mind chatter gets stronger and stronger. And like, look, everybody out there understands. I was doing my BNI pitch the other day. I said, "How many people here have a voice in the back of their head saying, 'I'm not doing it right. I'm doing it wrong. I'm stupid. I'm like right.'" That's happening all the time,
Oh yeah.
and that only increases when we're out of our alignment, when we're
Yeah.
out of integrity. So doing something like this quiets the mind. When you say and do what you say is important,
Yeah.
you get centered, you get focused, and you get energy from that. Even though, oh my God, the process of running for office is
Oh, can't imagine,
just
man.
insane.
Yeah.
And I was trying to still practice as a chiropractor while I did it.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. And I did it. I managed, but I was pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
But not my heart. In my heart,
Which,
I was pure and I was clear and I was clean. So Uh, what I wasn't clean about is the process of politics.
man. Yeah, but that's a whole nother
That
podcast.
is
That's my new favorite
another
line. I'm gonna write a
story.
book. That's another podcast because there's so many of these that could spawn another hour
Woo!
of talking.
Yeah.
For those of us who will never run for office for whatever reason, but we're looking at those day to day, week to week things we know we need to do or should do, but have trouble leaving the house, triggering that, whether it in life, taking that next step in business, even if make it simple like, well, I don't want to go out marketing myself. What what do you say to people to get them to think about something to help get them that next step out the door out of the office?
Well, the first thing is getting them in touch with themselves again.
Mm.
Most of us are fairly disconnected. And when you start, like I said before, who are we? What are our treasured values? What do we believe in? Right? What's important to us? If we start there and people can really get in touch with that, now, okay, let's also add one more ingredient. Let's add the ingredient of possibility.
Ah,
Possibility is uh, anything is possible, right? Now, what most of us do to keep our world more
yeah.
manageable is to say, no, that's not possible. That's not
Right.
possible. That's not possible. Now I've got my comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? But if we can say, just for now, let's let's add possibility, and we're just, you know, we're not going to push against it right now. We'll just add that in. Let's use the magic wand of in it. Let's wave that around and say, where would you like to be? Forget what you think is
Mhm.
realistic. Where would you like to be and
Yeah.
why? Right? Starting with this is who I am, and this is the experience I want to have. Now, many people say, well, I want to make $1 million, right? And that goes
Yeah.
back to the cultural messages about
Yeah.
money. But why would you want to have $1 million? What would that allow you to be? What would that allow you to, right? What's the experience you will get from having that?
And they don't have an answer for that.
Not usually, but
Yeah.
they'll say something along, well, I would have less stress. I would be happier. It would be easier for me to do X, Y, Z.
But there is zero proof that richer people are way happier than not richer people.
100%. And there's nothing to stop you from looking to be more happy and more
Yeah.
contented and less stressful right now.
Yeah.
That the $1 million isn't going to get it to you.
And we've seen the shows on those lottery winners. They go out and spend everything. So if you're making $50,000 a year right now, you have this level of living, whatever it be, size of the house, how many cars on it. And now you make 1,000,000 all of a sudden, you're gonna go buy bigger stuff. There's no way most people aren't gonna stay in that same house with that paid off car and thinking like, man, I got more money just to keep growing into more money. The majority of them just are not gonna do it.
You make $50,000 a year, you've got $50,000 problems.
Yes.
You make $300 million, you've
Oh,
got $300 million problems.
yes. Yeah, so I don't buy most people think that, again, there's that random number, oh, 1,000,000 I could do most people probably would wanna take an extra vacation or 2, I get that, or offer some money or resources or help to family members. Totally get that. But the rest of it, man, they are not planning for that. Oh, I'm going from a $225,000 house to a $785,000 house. Now you got a bigger note to pay. If you don't pay it in cash, you got the utilities to pay.
Well,
And then you just get in that spending cycle.
I'm sure you've heard the phrase be do have.
Not in a while.
Okay. So most of us, we want to have something.
Yes.
I want that new house. I want that new car. I want
Yeah.
that new outfit. I want that, whatever the thing is that we think will bring us happiness.
Mhm.
Very externally driven. It's not about what's in here.
Yep.
So if I'm going to have that, what do I have to do?
Oh,
And so they just get right into action. I got to go out and make that $1,000,000, whatever,
yeah.
right? And they're forcing it. And none of it, they've not spent the time to look at who am I being? Who am I?
Mhm.
Right? And I try to like back it up, back that truck up, right? Like, who are you? Who are you being? And who is the person that you want to be on the other end of having?
Mm.
Well, if you have that, now who are you going to be?
Yeah.
Right? Let's focus on the being.
Mhm.
Because whenever we focus on the doing, now we get into fix-it strategies, we get into like, the how-to manuals, and self-help books are full of how-to, but they don't work.
Yeah.
And I'd like to switch that from how-to to how-be.
Yes.
Who are you being?
Yeah.
And that's a core sense of my work is an identity. And I don't like to use the word because it gets misinterpreted, but it's really a spiritual word.
Yep.
Who who we are at our core is, in my opinion, that's an existential
Yeah.
question. And when we start to look at our life in those terms, not only do we find that there is more possibility to go out and do the very things we say we want, but if you're really being yourself, do
Yeah.
I really need that new car?
Yeah. You
Right?
you're fine. The car you're driving is 4 years old. Come on. You're buying that so the other people will see it, and they'll know, "Ooh, all of a sudden Tim's showing up in a BMW, dang."
Yeah.
Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, who I'm a big fan of because I don't think he understands there are 4 sides to the world, which is a good thing to know most times. And they were asking him one day about people who think they want a lot of money. He goes, if you're a if you're an asshole when you're poor, you're just gonna be a rich asshole. You're not gonna change. And
Clearly.
if you're not a big spender, you're not that going out and all the time, you're gonna be bad at it, and you're just gonna use it in the wrong place. So,
How's
what
it? Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead, finish.
how's this for a question?
Yes,
Right now, Mike,
yes,
your life, who you are.
yes.
You're married for 34 years.
Very happy.
You're a business coach.
2 sons and a grandson. I had to
Oh,
get Oliver in. It's taken 50
absolutely.
minutes to get him
Let's
mentioned in
let's
the
not
show,
let's
so
not
my
leave that.
man, FaceTimed with him Saturday.
Well, we
Yep.
talk about what things do you hold dear. That's
That's it
what you
right
hold
there.
dear.
Yep,
What if what you have right now?
yep.
What if this is all there is? What if it's
Uh,
never going to get
yeah,
that next level that we keep striving for? What
yep.
if right now?
Mhm.
How you doing?
I'm okay. Would love to have a little bit more of a nest egg
Mhm.
just for retirement purposes, but I don't know what I would do with $5,000,000. I'm not gonna jet set. I like traveling. I like to go visit people, and those
So
are my friends and family. Yeah.
slow it down a
Yep.
little bit more.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah. Love
How
it.
you doing?
Oh, love it.
Today.
Love it.
Forget tomorrow. Today.
Love it. Love it.
You seem to me, you've got this boyish
Yeah.
grin all the time. You enjoy what you do. Now I know that we worry, or maybe I need to do this, or what about my grandkids, or what about my nest
Yeah.
egg? I get that. But honestly, right now,
Yeah.
pretty good, right?
I tell people if you're a fan of It's a Wonderful Life, I am the George Bailey of Raleigh. I'm the richest man walking this town because I have a loving wife. I'm mostly healthy. I have a bad back and a pacemaker, but I'm still walking. Have a wonderful wife, 2 awesome sons, a daughter-in-law, and I got Oliver. So I'm a grandfather. Love it.
Do you recognize that that's a choice to see your life that way?
Oh, yeah. My mom gave me that. My mom gave me that, and
Well,
I
then you're
thank her
lucky
for it.
you got it given to you
Yep.
because a lot of people don't have it.
No.
And what you've got is a gift. Oh my God. I mean, I don't want to get, crazy here, but a gift from God is
Mhm.
not too strong of a
Yep.
word.
I
You've
thank
got
him
an
for it every day.
amazing
Yep.
gift.
Oh, yeah.
And your choice might be to say, damn, I just don't have, I don't, but you could look at all the glass half empty
Mhm.
if you chose to. And most people do.
They do, yeah. I have there's been a couple of massive self-inflicted stupid things I've done, and over time, I've owned them, and they were my fault.
Of
And
course,
they were absolutely my
we're
fault.
stupid humans.
Yeah,
We do
but
stupid
the older
things.
I get, the only thing and one of the reasons why I love being a small business owner is I want the flexibility to go where I wanna go, when I wanna go. If I wanna leave tomorrow and go see Oliver for the day, hey, I don't have to put in a notice, "Hey, can I have tomorrow off?" I enjoy doing that, so but yeah, I'm good. So, but I love the question, and more people should look at it, and I think and one of the tasks we gave one of our clients last week was to write their own obituary. And if you write yours, you're gonna realize and you can't use negative words because there are none in obituaries. You're like, "Huh, I guess I'm not doing so bad, or I didn't do so bad." Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So here's the one thing I want to add to that, which
yes.
I love it because we're both on the same
Yeah,
wavelength there,
yeah.
is that if you stop and actually look at yourself, it's like, this is actually amazing. I am so gifted. And I don't care. I've seen people, I've traveled through the back roads and jungles of Panama, and I see people in a dirt shack, the biggest
Mhm.
grins that you're gonna see, okay? Just this joy bubbling out of people. So it's not about how much money we have.
No, it is not.
And if I can get myself or if I can help you to get to a place where we recognize where we are is actually wonderful.
Mhm.
Not only is that great, but some people might think, "Oh, Tim, you just want me to like give up all of my desires." No, I don't. But when you get to this place of appreciation, it is the most powerful place to springboard into action
Oh,
to
yeah.
create the very things that you say you want.
Yep.
Because when you're going out to try to make $1 million by saying, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, this is terrible, I'm a jerk, guess what? It's not a very powerful way to get things
No.
rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this goes back to what you said earlier when society has told guys that they have to make a lot of money and they've told women you have to look like every model on TV, otherwise you are just, ugh, yeah, why are we even showing you or even talking about you? But you have to ask the why. Why do you want the money? Like you're saying earlier, why do you need the new car? Why, if you don't live in Preston or you don't own a 30th floor condo in Manhattan, why do you need that? And most people struggle. And if they give you an answer, it's just, you can tell it's not thought out.
And go back to those contexts. Never enough. I'm not enough.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's that push. Um, I've got nothing against people with big goals,
Oh, yeah.
big
It's what built this
choices, right?
country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the ingenuity of the
Yeah.
human mind. It's amazing. Let's take our heart with us
Yeah.
when we go, and let's do it from a purpose, right? We first have a sense of why we're doing it, right? That it fits into who I am. It fits into my gift to the world, right? My life
Mhm.
purpose. It all makes sense, and from there I can gain power and bring it forward. The same way I said I'm going to run for office.
Mhm.
The pathway is not clear to a
Oh, you knew the answer to that question before you even needed to give an answer to that question. But you did it anyways because you wanted to make a difference. And again, even if it was 150 of your constituents were changed because of that, it was the right thing to do, right?
it was the right thing for me to do.
For you to yes, for you to do. Oh, yeah.
And I do hope that
Yeah.
there's a ripple effect. I think there's a ripple effect when I am being me, when you are really expressing Mike.
Which I
There's a
do on a regular basis.
we try,
I got
right?
no problem.
But there's a magic that takes place. When you are being fully authentic, you give the next person permission to
Yes.
be fully authentic.
Yep.
And that's where some magic in relationship takes place that unfortunately, if I, I use this example, but I've got these guys that do maintenance in my building. you know, nice guys. Really, I get along great with them. But I realized my relationship with them is, hey, how's it going today? Yo, what kind of trouble are you getting yourself
Yeah.
into? I get into the bro mentality,
Hmm?
right? And I look at that and I go, there's so much more opportunity there. I could have a real relationship with
Hmm.
these guys and I could talk from the heart
Yep.
and we could connect on a level that it doesn't matter who we are and what we do. There's an opportunity to bring authenticity to the world that is powerful. And that's what I'm saying. When you are authentic, you give me permission to be authentic. And
Yes. Yeah.
there's
It took me a while. Interviewing is so bad on for jobs, not on this show. The interviewing is very good on
I
this
was going to
show,
say that you're doing
but
all right here.
but
Yeah.
in job wise, because my favorite worst question is if you could be a tree, what tree would you be? I hate those questions. But one of the questions that I do enjoy asking people is, what do you bring to the table? Because if I'm hiring you, I know what I'm bringing to the table. This opportunity for you, this money, these benefits, all that. But what are you bringing to the table? And it took me a long time to realize not only with my skill set of, whatever I was doing at the time, but I bring energy. I walk into room and I got to talk to people. I'm better when you and Amnon are relaxed and we're laughing and having fun because then better ideas come out. We get more relaxed. Go, hey, Amnon, I heard you're doing that the other day. Tell me about that. And people just grow because somebody walks into that room with some energy and gives people permission to just kind of laugh instead of sitting there like, ooh, the vice president just walked in the room. And everybody's like, oh crap, we better shut up. So it took me a while to realize that's one of the things I brought to the room, and I enjoy doing that. And those are the people I am drawn to as well,
Mhm.
where we can just all be us, and we can admit when we're stupid because we all are, and we can admit when we've messed up, and we all have. And but it's okay. But by saying that, we give the other person permission to go, oh God, let me tell you what I did last year. And then there's no judgment. We're okay. And
And,
yeah.
and now we're on an equal level.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I work a lot with leadership with my
Mhm.
clients, and we talk a lot about the ladder. Where are you on the ladder, and how are you relating to the other person? Is that person a
Yeah.
step up on one rung up, one rung down? And what happens to the way that you relate? What happens to who you're being when you're relating to them as a rung
Mhm.
above,
Yep.
right? And that sort of kowtowing, and then is it from like I need to please you, or is it I'm angry and I resent you,
Mhm.
or but it doesn't matter. It interferes with relationship, it interferes with
Yep.
productivity, and in terms of people uh, being able to rely on you to to create something, to
Yep.
make something happen, it's the relationships that are so vital.
And the best managers I've seen in the corporate world manage up and down.
That is correct.
Your people
Absolutely.
report to you. They've got to manage you. You have to manage them, but they got to manage you, and that relationship gets going. One thing I did want to talk about before we finish the show. You worked at the United Nations in the Department of Public Information for the chiropractic field. That's cool. That's a first on the show. You're the first UN diplomat to grace this show. How did that come about?
I think it came about from my involvement in politics.
Okay.
And the World Chiropractic Alliance had a presence at the DPI, and they were looking for someone to take over that position, and I was a natural fit for it. I lived in New York, which makes it easier because the meetings are over there
Oh, yeah.
on the east side. So my office was even on the east side. So that um, it's an incredible world, and it is a great one for BNI people to get with because the United Nations really is more about networking than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
there's no real teeth there,
Mhm.
right?
No.
But because when people come together and they share ideas and they mingle and they discuss and they talk about what's important, things happen.
At this level, not this level, because most of the stuff is happening at this level that need to be
Unf
addressed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, BNI is the same thing. It's an
Mhm.
amazing
Mhm.
conduit for people. And I know a lot of people get into BNI and they're thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna get a bunch of business," right? And so they
Mm.
come in with that prospector mentality
Yeah.
of, "Let me, bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it." And they don't realize that as we create an army of other people that we get to know and like and share with, and they just naturally, uh, want to give that business back. I mean,
Yeah.
we were looking at houses. We just moved down here. We thought we'd give it a year, but we love it so much we're already looking at houses.
And thank you for moving down here. We're kind of proud of our area. So,
Thank you.
yes.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's so great. I've got a realtor in my chapter. We're already talking about where we want
Been
to
on the show
live.
Before. Amy
That's
has.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And got a guy there from mortgage, John DeHart. So he's
Mhm.
going to help me find a mortgage. And it's such a resource for me personally,
Mhm.
let alone,
Yep.
for me to send people that I know.
Yep.
So it just works.
All right, I need you to put your coaching hat back on for the last couple of minutes we have. We're going to go over, but I don't
All
really care
right.
because here's one thing in life that just drives me crazy is people who can't take a compliment. And my mom and I would go back and forth because I would give her a compliment. The first thing out of her mouth is, well, not really, or, oh, that wasn't that good. And I said, Mom, we got to stop here. If you want to say nothing at all, just say thank you because you're telling me, oh, I was wrong to compliment you. You have no talent, no worth. So please tell our folks watching how to correctly take a compliment, even if they don't agree with it.
Mm. Well, we got a few layers to get through
Oh,
on
there's
that
another
one.
podcast. I know. Sorry to
No,
spray
no, no,
this
no,
on you
no, no, no.
at 2
It's
minutes after the hour.
so first of all, we talked about that context of never good enough.
Yep.
And so people oftentimes will say, I don't want to. If I accept the compliment, then I'm not going to force myself to be a better person, right? I mean, I don't know how many of my clients will say, "Well, I need to give myself a hard time.
Mm.
I need to keep, you know, beating myself so that I will drive forward." Right? It's that beast of burden mentality.
Mhm.
And that if someone says you're good, you say, "No, no, 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 I've got to be better." And it's a fallacy. It doesn't work, right? Because now we stay in the mentality of like, I'm not good enough. I'm not, and I always need to do more. And you never stop to actually capitalize on the things you do. So it really does start with that identity and who we are,
Yep.
and and then there's the sort of the codependence of the interplay between the relationship, and we could dig into that on another
Oh, yeah.
podcast with you and your mom, but,
And I agree with you because most people think, well, that would be arrogant to agree that even I was remotely kind of maybe better than average.
own your power.
But look at the people that are good and want to be better. And most of my analogies go back to sports. So if you look at just playing today, Serena, Tiger, and Tom Brady, they're all real good. But what do they all want to be? Better.
Better.
So it's okay to take that compliment. Wow, you won this many majors, but
It's not humility, though. Not taking a compliment is not humility.
what
It's
is it?
not the same.
All right.
Humility might be, "I'm humbled by your appreciation of my gifts.
But they won't even say
Thank you
that.
so much.
Well, I can't even get
I
that from
I like
people.
to believe that I
Yes.
have something to offer the world, and I'm going to own it.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna shout it from the rooftops, okay? I'm being humble about my brilliance,
Okay. I follow you.
okay?
Yep.
So now the person who says, "Oh, no, no, I don't deserve that," that's just denying God's grace on the planet, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. There's something that we have that is, that we have the opportunity to share with others, and we should never discount that because it's not even ours to begin with.
Yeah. If you did something nice for somebody and they not just said thanks for that, but said thank you, that was nice of you to take the time out to do that. That's just one of the most powerful ways of acknowledging somebody for truly letting them know what impact you had on them, and then to blow them up by saying, "Well, I don't know if I did that good." It's like,
Ugh.
never got sick from my mother's food, but by golly, she never cooked a good meal." So
I end every coaching session with an acknowledgement, and I ask my client, "How can I acknowledge?"
wow.
And it's sometimes a difficult question for the
Yeah,
very reason we just talked about.
yeah,
And I'll wait. I'll wait for them to come up with something,
yeah.
and then I can, they say, "Well, I guess you can acknowledge me for having the guts to take a look at a very difficult situation."
All right. It's a big step.
It's a big
Oh,
step,
yeah.
and for me to be able to say, "I acknowledge the person you are that cares enough, that's going to look deep into their heart, be vulnerable with me as another human being, allow me into your space.
Mhm.
And the two of us talk about this so that you can make your life better for all the people that you impact. Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you for being that person." And I think that being acknowledged is one of the ways that we really can get back in touch with our inner self.
yeah. We got into empathy the other day with one of our clients, and he was trying to downplay it a little bit, and I stopped him there and I said, "Hang on a sec. for that one moment in time where you helped somebody and they really needed help, that was a big deal to them. You may not have thought it was big to you, but to them, it could have saved their week. It could have changed anything like that. So we have to be careful not to go, that's, all I did was change a tire for them on the side of the road. But you never know, what kind of impact you could have had on people. So
I think many of us would agree that to own our shortcomings is responsible.
we should, yes.
I want to take that up and also flip it on the other side of that coin is to be responsible for our greatness.
I have no problem with that.
All right.
When I'm good, I tell people whether they agree with me or not. Anyways, Dr. Tim Merrick, thank you for joining us today. They can find you at bigtimecoaching.com.
That is correct.
Right? Ask for Tim, not Taryn. So, but although your wife does improv, so go on their website. It's some cool stuff he and his wife do. They do a lot. I couldn't even get to the list. Taryn's a painter, improv, wedding officiant, grief counselor, and a hot yoga instructor. The hot is the yoga type that's done.
If you say so.
We'll let you say it. But anyways, go to bigtimecoaching.com. We can all use help. I know Tim could help you. Tim, we thank you very much for the time today. Good luck with everything. Absolutely. And we'll see you next week on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.